blogging is a very attractive way to bring new users to your website. Right now on my website, when they land on Work Hard to Work Less, they are brought to this page. And this is the page I'm going to go over step by step from start to finish on how to build in Elementor Pro. Right here, we have the title of the post. This is put in automatically every time I publish a new post. I don't have to do this. I set it once and it automatically publishes in this format. That's going to be the same with every other field on this page. When we scroll down just a little bit, here is the date it was published. It's been a while since I published it. And then this is the featured text. It's sort of a call out to our users to let them know what to expect and really what they're going to get out of reading this post. You'll also notice on the right sidebar, I have a little bit more information on me and how to keep users engaged. So first, this is about me and my social media, and then we have all of my recent posts to keep users engaged. This image is the featured image that will also update with every post. And then this is the content that you write in the WordPress posts. When we scroll down, these categories are filterable. I went over this in another video so that users can totally sort by what category the video is. And then as we scroll down, this table of contents will be sticky right here. So for longer blog posts, users can go directly to the part of the blog post that will give them the most value and make you look the best. Right when I finished reading this blog post, I see this call out CTA that says subscribe to our newsletter. So right when people finish and they loved my post, they are going to be asked to subscribe so that they can get every new post. This is connected to MailChimp as well, so it is all updating automatically. I'll go over how to add comments in here as well, but I only want people to be able to share and reply on social, so I added it right here. And then at the bottom, again, we have these related posts. Now, this is a lot, but strap in, get excited, and pull up your WordPress dashboard. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nathan Mins, and I make videos on Elementor and Divi and how you can fully utilize web design and these softwares in your business. Now, let's get your blog set up. I know that was a lot, but we're going to go through this step by step. So first, we're going to go into the back end of WordPress. And then let's go on this left sidebar to templates in the theme builder. And we can see the one that I already have on my site right here, this single post. But I'm going to start totally from scratch. So let's add a new one. Let's make this a post. And then I'll call it single post 2. So I'm brought to this page, and there are a ton of Elementor templates for these posts, and they're actually quite good. They don't match my brand, but we're going to go through how to fix that. I really like this one, so I'll insert this one right here. It also says, do you want to import document settings? Yes, I will import document settings there as well. And now it looks like it applied Elementor Canvas so that I don't have a header or footer anymore. And that's a little bit weird. So I'm going to go into the settings right here. Under page layout, I'll just go Elementor full width. And then this will update. So as you can see, it already looks somewhat similar to what we have here. I think this looks a little more polished, but you can at least see the beginnings of it here. So let's start customizing this to be exactly what we want. Here, I want this to not have a 650 width. I want that to just be default. I don't need a minimum height there either, so we'll put that to default. And then the style here, I want the background for this section to be a gradient. So let's put this dark blue here and then this light blue here, and just put that at 90 degrees. Clearly this still doesn't look that great. Let's check to make sure there's no background overlay. There's not. Then let's go to typography here. This doesn't really matter. We'll go to the post title. And then this, all we have to do, let's set that to our global white. And then this typography, this is going to be our primary headline. And let's set this alignment to the left. This is a little bit cramped though, so I'll add a top padding and a bottom padding. And then this top section is pretty much done. I'm going to go over tablet and mobile at the very end, but right here, this is done. Now on this section, I'm going to go down this column first, and then I'll come back up and do this right column. So first we have this section. As I've said before, I'm the only author here, so we don't need the author. And the date is fine. Let's change the style here a little bit. I want the color here to be black, and then I'll set this as the body text. Next we have our post excerpt. This is automatically pulled in every time, so all we have to do is adjust the styling a little bit. So to go to style, I'll set this as my default text color, and then I'll put this typography at my testimonial title. I think this italics looks really nice, and it just, something about it tells you that this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to, and it's going to tell you why you should pay attention to the rest of the article. Now under advanced, we're going to want to get rid of this little line, or at least change the color. So under advanced, we have the border, and I'm going to want this border to be dark blue, and everything else about it is fine. Next, I have this image. This is all great. This also pulls right in. It's the featured image. And the only thing I'll change is I'll add a border radius just to match the rest of the site, just of 5. Next, we have all of our content. I'm going to want this to be our default text color, of course. And then the typography, I'll also set to the body text. Not a big change there, but notable. And then I'll just change this top margin to 40, just so the spacing across everything is the same. So you'll see here that I am missing a part, so I'm missing this callout section. So to do that, I actually got that callout section from one of the Elementor templates as well. So if I go in here and I go to subscribe, then there is one right here that looks pretty similar. So let's just insert this, and this is going to be a section, so we're not going to want this full section, but it's going to be pretty easy to change out. Let's add an intersection right here, and then we'll get rid of this column. In here, we will change the style so that this is, let's do this one as light blue and this one as dark blue. And then we'll have this as 90 degrees for the angle. And then all I have to do is drag each of these elements right in here. And then we'll do a little more on styling them. Then we can just get rid of this section. Now here, this is a little bit closer than I'd like to everything else. So I will add a margin here, 60 on top and 100 on the bottom. So that just pushed this down. And then the padding throughout, we'll see it's pretty close. So let's add 40. And this doesn't look that good now, but it will, I promise. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is go in here and change this border to have a border radius of 5, just so this matches as well, just a little bit of the curved edges. Now it's time to style all of these. So first, let's do the icon. That's the easiest by far. So let's just style this, and it's going to be white, and that's it. Next, we have this heading. Let's make this our tools heading. So it's still pretty big. And then we'll make it white. This is going to be our body text. And then this one will also just be white. And we'll get rid of this top margin, and we'll get rid of the bottom margin and add 30. So it's still a little bit separated. So now we have this form. This form can be connected to MailChimp completely. We can add actions after submit and just add MailChimp here. And then we can put our MailChimp API key in integrations. So that's how you do that part. But let's start back up here at the top. I want there to be a placeholder of your email address. And then this is a required field. I'll set this to 100. And if you remember, this button will also be 100. So we'll change this to 100. And now the button is wide as well. Actions after submit, you can really set to whatever you'd like. I already showed you that you can set up MailChimp pretty easily. That's what I've done in the past. You can also set it up to just be an email if you'd like to do it manually. But why do it manually when you have automation right at your fingertips? And you really don't need to do anything else in content. Under style, let's change all of this to white. So the label, I guess there isn't one, and I guess there also is an HTML field. Just in case there is someday, we'll add that there. The field, let's make this white. And then we'll have the body text, and it looks white right now, and that's probably why it's pretty confusing. We're actually going to make this a custom color by reducing this so that we can see right through it. And now we can actually read everything. The border color is also going to be a true white. And the border radius, you guessed it, is 5. Now for the button, the background is going to be white as well, while the text color is black. This is all set. We'll set this as the global white text color. On hover, let's change this background color to dark blue with a white text. And again, you guessed it, the border radius will be 5. And let's add a 10 pixel text padding right there. Now for the message, all we need this is the body text, and that is all set. In advanced, we don't need top padding there, so we'll just get rid of that. And then this is looking pretty similar, but you can see that this spacing is just a little bit bigger than this one. So if we go into our column setting, we can set the default widget space. We can change that to be 0. And then when we look at this and this, you can see the default widget space is 0. And then we'll change this, actually, the border to 10. I know, a little bit different, but I think it looks pretty nice. So right there, you can see it is pretty much the exact same. Now we're going to add our leave a reply on social. So let me just copy this text right here. So when we go into our heading right here, I'm gonna put this right above it. Let's make this black. And then put that right there. And let's make it a little bit smaller, so let's make it the tools heading. And then we'll add the share buttons. We can put anything we want here. I'm going to put Facebook here, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then let's do email. Now these are all set. These will work automatically. If we want to add in comments, then we can. So we can just put this comments right here. But I don't really like doing this, but this is how you do it. Users will log in through WordPress and they'll be able to leave a reply. But I don't want to do that. Now this closes out this full column. You can see this, it looks the exact same. So now it's time to move on to our next column, this one. So I got rid of this share right here. because I'm already sharing at the end of the article. I don't need that. I did have this, but I actually had, if you remember, my picture and social icons right before it. So first, let's just get this column ready. This is also going to have a widget space of 0. And now let's jump in. I have an image right at the top, and I usually like to add in all of the widgets I'll use before I do anything. So I'm going to add in all of the widgets just for my name and social icons. Social icons, I have these. They are global, so I can update them only in one spot. For this, I am adding my headshot where I am smiling super big. And then this is pretty big and sort of in your face. So I'm gonna make this width 50, and let's make sure the max width is also 50 so that it never goes above that. And the border radius here is 5. And then let's make sure it is aligned left all of the time. Underneath it, we will add a bottom margin of 20. And now we're ready to insert my name here. And I really like this font here, but I'm gonna reduce it a little bit. So let's reduce this to 40 and then this to 50. And let's change the color here to be black. Now all I have to do in advance is make the bottom 10 and we'll be all set. You can see it's looking pretty close. I'm gonna take this little bio, this mini bio, and I'll put it right there. It's pretty small just because people are here to read the article. I don't want to distract them too much. And now we have this first section done. Right there. Now onto this section, which looks like this on this page. Here, we're going to add 100 margin on the top just to separate it out a little bit. And then let's make this heading the accent text, and we'll make it black. Now for this section. All of this is pretty good. I'm gonna set this image ratio just to 1, so it's just a square. This is all good. I'll reduce the excerpt length just a little bit. And then in the query, this is all good. I do want to exclude the current post, and let's avoid duplicates while we're at it. And then pagination, we don't need any of it. Now in style, this is all set. The box is okay. The image is okay, but let's just add 2 more. And then under content, let's make it again black. I'll make this the accent text. And then this excerpt will also be black, but I want it to be pretty small. Maybe entice people into reading it more. So that's going to be the small footer text. Now under advanced, there's really nothing I have to do here. So this is all set. Next we have our categories right here. So let's add them in. If we go to these 9 dots again, we can add in the WordPress categories. And it looks like right here, it's already set. I'll display the post counts. I'm fine with it saying categories. And then all I want to do is add a margin up at the top of 100. And this is all set. That's all I had to do for that. I don't want this to be here, so I'm just going to delete that. And then we have the infamous table of contents that stays with us as we scroll and stops at the bottom, so it doesn't overlap anything else. I will have the table of contents, so it's a widget in Elementor. And then I'm just going to have to do a couple things here. So I'll add a top margin of 100. And then under content, it'll be called table of contents. HTML tag will be H4, and then I'm going to get rid of all of these. So we only have these. Now the problem you may be seeing is that we have Marisol and then final thoughts. Those are my H2s that are within here. But we also have a couple others, and I don't want those to be there. So I'm going to go down to these three and change these. So we have leave a reply on social is set as an H2 HTML tag. So I'll just reduce that to H3. That doesn't change anything about it, but this will go away. My name is also H2. We'll reduce that. And more posts is quite small, but it's also H2. So let's do that to H3. And then when we go here, if we just delete it and then add it back, we'll see that they're gone. Table of contents is quite big, so under style, we'll go to this black is fine. And then this will be our small header. Now the big question is, how do we make it stay right there? Well, we're gonna go to advanced, and then we'll go to motion effects. Then we want it to be sticky to the top. I don't want this effect on tablet or mobile, and I'll have it offset by 100 pixels. Right here, it stays there, but it goes over the next section. That's why we have stay in column. And it'll stop right at the bottom of that column. Now the only thing is to adjust the highlighting. So under style, if we go down to list, we'll see the normal text color. This is all fine. We'll go to hover. So when we hover on something, it'll look like this. And we just want that to be dark blue right there. And then when it's active, when we're actually in that part of the article, we'll have a brighter accent. It's not going to work now because it still has to update, but this will work when we update it. And now we only have one section left. We have our related posts. Now let's delete this section and we will just add a full new section. All this has is a title and then some posts. So we'll add a title right here, and it is called related posts. And then right under it, we have our posts. You'll see on here that this is a little bit wider than everything else. It's a nice way to end the page. So this, I'm going to switch from my default to 1600. I want there to be 5 columns. I want them to not be classic, but be cards. I want 5 posts per page. Everything else here is okay. And I'll take my avatar out because I still wrote all of these. Under query, we'll include everything. This is good. And we'll just exclude the current post while avoiding duplicates. And pagination, we won't have any. Now under style, this looks good. And the only thing we have to do here is go under content and go to typography and go to small header. Accent text looks good there. This excerpt will have body text, and the meta will have a small footer text. And as I'm seeing here, I actually don't want any comments. So we'll just get rid of comments right there. And we'll get rid of the date just for appearance. Now I'll just add right up here in advanced, I'll just add a padding of 20. I won't forget to change this color to black and change this primary heading to the tools heading and reduce this widget space just to 10. Now what we have is just what we have on this other page, but we still need to add just a little bit of margin down there. So let's go right here and right at the bottom, add 100 pixels of padding, and we're all set. We have now made exactly what we had right here. Now it's time to go through mobile. So when we look at this, I'm going to reduce this page significantly on mobile, partially for time and just because I want people to be focused on the content. And on mobile, all of this content is pretty overwhelming, especially when these posts are also down here. So I'm actually just going to hide this entire column on tablet and mobile. And then down here, all of this is okay on mobile. Now let's check it. So we have this looks pretty good. And now the only thing we see here is that this spacing doesn't line up perfectly, and that bothers me a lot. I'll just go in here and I'll just add a little bit of spacing on both sides, and that should make this line up pretty well. And then on mobile, let's go back up to the top. Just take a look. This looks pretty good, pretty readable. This looks pretty bad, so we'll just add this right there. This looks like a little bit too close, so it looks like we could really add some space there. Maybe 10 pixels is okay there, and then maybe adding 10 there and reducing this to about 30. That looks good to me. Now when we scroll down, this still looks good to me. And then we have all of our new posts so that they can continue reading. I will edit this section though and add a 60 pixel margin or padding just so we can always see that. Then when we go back to our desktop, it looks the exact same. Awesome. Now all we have to do is hit the saved options. We hit display conditions, and I already have a post here, but we can put it on all singular, or we can put it on really anything else we'd want. If we want it to only be by one author, you can do that. And then just hit save and close, and it will set up automatically. Hey everybody, if you liked this video, I would love it if you hit subscribe and the bell icon right next to it underneath this video. If you have any requests on what you'd like me to make my next video on, post that in the comments below, and that's how I'm going to decide what videos I make next, based on your problems and what you need fixed in your web design business. As always, there are great links in the description for web designers or really any other creative alike. Thanks for watching.